Hello friends, nice to see you back. In this tutorial, we are going to learn about symbol. We already know about data type in JavaScript. Especially, we have 7 type of data type: string, number, boolean, array, object, null, and undefined. But a new data type has been added to this list, which is symbol. And in this video, we are going to learn about symbol. But before we learn about symbol, let's take an overview to our old data types. Suppose I have a variable named A, and if we assign this variable and inside the double quotes or single quotes, if I provide any value, then we call it a string, and it doesn't matter is it alphabetic or numeric. It's mean a data type is string. Similarly, if we assign a numeric value without quotes, then we call it number data type. But if I provide true or false without quotation, it's mean it's a boolean data type. But if I add multiple value in our A variable, then we can use array data type. For this, we need to use square braces and then we can use multiple value. But if I want to add key and value pair, then we can use object data type. And if I assign null to this variable, then we call it null data type. And if we do not define any value to this variable, in that case, we can call it undefined. I know if you are in this course, you already know about it. Just I want to revise once again. But in this video, we are going to understand a new data type, symbol. When you want to use symbol data type, you need to take variable and you need to assign with the symbol method. And remember, S should be capital and we need to use round braces after that. And inside this symbol, we can place any value. It may be numeric value or string value, something like that. And we call this string symbol identifier or description. And it's always a unique value. I want to say, we cannot assign the same value to other symbol. Suppose I take another variable b and I'm going to provide the same value. As you can see, a and b variable value is same. Maybe you can think their value is same. So if we try to compare them, it's written true. But this is not going to happen. If we compare this to variable, it's written false. Their value looks same, but they are not same. Because symbols' values are unique. And if we try to compare it, it written false. When we need to use unique value to our program, in that case, we can use symbols. So let's start the practical and try to explore more about symbols. Here you can see I open my Visual Studio Code editor and I also create a HTML file. And I open this HTML file using Live Server extension in this browser. First I'm going to type script tag. Inside the script tag, I'm going to create a symbol. So I'm going to create a variable. Let id equal to S should be capital, symbol. Let's print this symbol in our console. So I'm going to type console.log inside the parenthesis id. If I save this file, you can see in my console, it print, it's a symbol. And I'm going to assign an identifier to this symbol. So I'm going to type hello. It may be string, maybe number, whatever. And if I save this file, you can see in my console, it's print hello. And if I show you the data type, so I'm going to duplicate this line and I'm going to print type of ID. And if I save this file, you can see it's print symbol. Symbols mean one unique value. Let's try to prove it how it is a unique value. So I'm going to duplicate this line and change the name id to. You can see it's looking same and their value is same. But if I compare this to variable, it's written false. Let's compare it. id equals to id2. If I save this file, you can see it's written false. It's mean these two variables values are not same. It's look pretty similar, but it is not same. But if we use string, let me show you that. So I'm going to duplicate this line and I'm going to change the name str1 and str2. Now they are string, not symbol. So I'm going to remove this symbol keyword. And also I'm going to remove this one. And now I'm going to compare this to value. So inside console.log section, I'm going to type str1 and str2, and I'm going to comment out this one. If I save this file, you can see it written true, because in that case they are not symbol, they are string, and two variables values are same. They are not unique value. One thing remember, we cannot use symbol value directly in our document. Let me show you that. So I'm going to remove these lines. I don't need these lines for now. And also I'm going to remove these lines. As I say, we cannot print symbol value in our document. If I try to print, so I'm going to use a alert. Alert. Inside the parenthesis, I'm going to print ID. If I run this code, it's written error. So I'm going to save this code. And you can see type error. And also it print cannot convert a symbol value to a string. If you want to convert symbol value into a string, then you need to use some method to convert symbol value into a string. Let me show you that. So we need to use toString method, id.toString. Using this method, we can convert symbol variable into a string. If I save this file, now it's worked properly. You can see in my alert symbol hello. So we need to use toString method to convert symbol into a string. And then we can use this symbol value in our document. And if you want to see the exact value of symbol, then we need to use a different method. In that case, we do not use toString method. So I'm going to remove it. And I'm going to type id.description. It's not a function, so we don't need to use round braces. It is just a symbol method. So if I save this file, you can see in my alert section, now it's just print hello, means our message. In the next part of this video, I'm going to show you how can we use symbol into an object. Hello friends, nice to see you back. In this video, we are going to use symbol inside the object. So I'm going to remove these lines and I'm going to create a new symbol. Let h equal to symbol. For now, it's empty. And then I'm going to create an object. So I'm going to take a variable name for object. Let user equal to, inside the curly braces, here I'm going to create the object. And we know we need to use value and key to create an object. Our first object key is name. And its value is add1. And our second object is class. And its value is class 10. And now I want to use this symbol as a key. In that case, first we need to use square braces. And then we need to type symbol variable h. And we need to provide value. So I'm going to type 25. It's a numeric value. When we need to use symbol as a key inside the object, then we need to use square braces. And inside the square braces, we need to provide symbol variable. Let's try to print this object inside the console. So I'm going to type console.log, inside the parenthesis, our object name, user, semicolon to end this line. If I save this file, you can see in my console, it's print the object. For our first value, it's print name, second value, it's print class, but for our third value, it's print symbol. And we do not provide any description to our symbol. If you want, then you can. As a symbol value, I'm going to type h. If I save this file, this time it print symbol h. And there is another method to use symbol in our object. So I'm going to remove it. And also I remove this comma. And now I'm going to use this symbol in this object. So outside the object, first I'm going to type object name, user. And inside the square braces, I'm going to take symbol variable name, h, equal to, and I'm going to assign a value, 23. So this is the another way we can use symbol with object. So if I save this file, you can see in my console, it print our proper value. And as you know, if you want to see the exact value of any key, you can. Just you need to type user.class. If I save this file, you can see it's written the exact value, class 10. And if I want to show the symbol value, we cannot use this method. Let me show you. If we try, so I'm going to duplicate this line and I'm going to change this variable name age. And if I set this code, you can see it print undefined. Class is our key, age is our key, but it work with class, then why it is not work with age? If we want to show exact symbol value, in that case we don't need to use dot, we need to use square braces. So we need to move this variable inside the square braces. If I set this code, you can see now it's returned the result. So you need to remember, for normal data type we can use dot, but for symbol data type we need to use square braces. As you know, we can print every object key or value using for in loop. So let's use for in loop and try to print every key in our console. So I'm going to type for, inside the parenthesis, let key in user, user means our object name, then inside the curly braces, console.log, inside the parenthesis key. If I run this code, it's going to print student name, user class, but it is going to skip user age because it is a symbol. So I'm going to save this file. Now you can see in my console it print name class, but it doesn't print age key. So it's print only two key, name and class. But if I duplicate this line and try to insert another key, name gender, and his gender is male, so I'm going to type male. If I save this file, you can see it print three key from our object, name, class and gender, but it skip age key because it's a symbol. So we cannot use symbol inside the for in loop, and you need to remember it always. And you know why we use JavaScript object? Because we convert JavaScript object into a JSON object and try to send data to the server. And if I try to convert this user object into a JSON, once again it skips this value. Let me show you this. You can see we have 4 values in our object, name, class, age and gender. So first I'm going to remove this, I don't need this for loop. And now I'm going to convert this object into a JSON file. So I'm going to use console.log. Inside the parenthesis, I'm going to use json.stringify method. json.stringify. Inside the parenthesis, I'm going to provide our object name, which is user. If I save this file, you can see it return a JSON object. But if you notice, age value is missing. But if I just print this object in our console, let's see. So I'm to remove this parenthesis, and if I save this file, you can see in my console symbol value, but in my JSON object there is no symbol value. So we need to remember, whenever we use symbol value in our object, we cannot use this value in our for in loop, and also we cannot convert this value into a JSON object. And if you really want to convert it, then we need to convert this symbol value into a string. As I told you earlier, we use the description method to convert the symbol into a string, and then we can convert it into a JSON object. We do not directly convert symbol into a JSON object. So basically this is our new data type symbol. Symbols mean unique value. It is rarely used. I hope now it's clear for you what is symbol data type. Thanks for watching this video.